sometimes it's so viscerally real, this sense
Mm-hmm.
of this connectedness and beyond connectedness, right? Like when you say,
Mm-hmm.
I am the light, we kind of know ourselves as this being, as this essence, as there's no separation, no disconnection.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it like when we, as we know that, or as like you say, you look at the sunrise and you're like, there's just awe there, and the sense of awe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we feel this body, or we look at our hand,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what do we? Because we can do the same thing, and going, and maybe in a little while we'll dive into that, the sense of loneliness that we're talking about. But
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's all the same. What if we? What do we find? What does Elizabeth find when she looks in the image of Elizabeth right now, or just looks at her hand? Can she find some of that radiance, some of that awe, like the sun, or like the light of being? What does she find? How does she get a glimpse of it? How does it shine through?
It shines through when I'm not trying to see it. Like when I was doing a meditation with Raymond one day, and he said, okay, come back now. And I opened my eyes and I saw that foot. And I was like, oh, look at that foot. And then I was like, oh, I'm attached to that foot. Or when I was doing Feldenkrais a few weeks ago, I do an online Feldenkrais class, and we were doing something with our arms over our heads. And I tend to keep my eyes closed. And at one point, I opened my eyes and I saw this thumb. And I was like, hmm. And I was disconnected. The thumb was not me, you know? So I think that that sense of everything all connected, sometimes one becomes disembodied from this.
Hmm. Sometimes the connection, or in the opening up to the kind of infinite spaciousness, there's a sense of almost becoming a witness to this, getting some distance from the embodiment of Elizabeth and Sid. Like
Hmm.
it's some space, like,
Hmm.
whoa, thumb, what's this? Oh, it's my thumb, it's me. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
hmm.
And I also realized one day I was doing a meditation on universal consciousness. And one of the things that came through was that the consciousness that this soul inhabits is the result of every ancestor who came before me and all of the influences on them to create this consciousness. And then that will go forward in this genetic line. Just the
So
constant connection.
and so as this sense of the me, the genetic line, the me becomes more inclusive. Wow, it's kind of including the ancestors that are moving through this manifestation of me. And then you've also said that at times it's very clear that I am the light as well.
Mm-hmm.
I am
Mm-hmm.
this beingness. So then how does the mind make sense of that word me?
Well, I think the word me it's a construct. It's a mind, it's a name that we give to this consciousness that we inhabit. Because the me is just part of the larger we. And it's, as we know, it's all just a big connection. Like I was doing a Qigong class yesterday, and it was cool because it was outside. It was in this beautiful garden. I live up in Dutchess County in Millbrook. And it was this beautiful garden called Innisfree, which is a Chinese cup garden. And the instructor said we were doing something where we had our hands coming together and going apart and coming together and going apart. And she said, you may feel Um, at the when your hands come closer together, you may feel almost the air thicken or almost a tingly sensation or something. And I kind of felt the air got kind of a little bit thicker or more visceral. And she said that's your chi between your two hands. And I think that that energy, again, living in a materialist world, we can't prove energy. And yet it's there.
There's this visceral experience of, whoa, what's this? What's that? And it's like, whoa, this is, and the teacher says it's not so, it is you. It is an expression of you. It's your chi, it's your energy.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then you also had this experience of seeing this thumb,
Hmm.
and you were seeing it from a place that kind of wasn't directly through these eyes. There was something that you were identifying with a place of awareness, place of
Hmm.
knowing, something that wasn't perhaps kind of localized here or even in time, perhaps. And then in a way we get to call all of that me, which is kind of fun. Like all of that me.
Hmm.
And we can
Hmm.
call it a construction. We
Hmm.
can the mind. I mean, it's fun playing with your mind. I get the breadth and depth of some of that. It's like it's fun, and at the same time, there's this. Like here we are on this
Hmm.
Sunday
Hmm.
morning, getting to be Sid and Elizabeth. That includes all of that. Like both of us were considering going to this church service that celebrates the we and the bigness, and then
Hmm.
here it is, just you and me. And just using
Hmm.
those words, you and me, that includes all of this. It's just, I don't know. It's really fun for me. It's like, whoa, it's Disney.
Hmm. 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 Well, yeah, because it's all included in everything. And I think that there are moments of touching into that deep oneness, which is awe-inspiring. No, like last winter when I was walking my dog up on this road that I walk on often, and I was just kind of overcome by, I had this transcendent experience where I was just overcome by all of the connections of everything, how it's all just a giant cycle and it's all connected. And when I have those moments of transcendence, I just go, whoa.
Whoa.
And I and I actually had that on Palm Sunday. I had that. I was in church and the priest was talking about, God's unconditional love. And I was just overcome with this sense of that unconditional love.
And you get to it's like overcome by is there a sense of getting to both receive it, like to be held in that, and also to kind of
Hmm.
be it, like how, like is it both of those, or what's that like?
I felt flooded with it and I felt full of it and I felt held. I felt it was in me and also it was holding me, that we are all part of this kind of light show and
Mm.
that we do have access to this kind of sea of tranquility and just kind of the beingness and the constancy.
Mhm. And then here we are, Sid and Elizabeth on Sunday, and then let's say it's like, okay, time to go, and we kind of end our this playful Zoom together.
Hmm.
And Sid decides not to go and meet his friends at this church service. And
Hmm.
he's sitting in his condo, and it's like, oh gosh, here I go again, spending so much time just sitting by myself.
Hmm.
And that word, which is going to be a theme for today, loneliness comes.
Hmm.
And so what's it like when we have an experience feeling like that in the midst of knowing ourselves as as we're describing how we're knowing
Hmm.
ourselves? How does that play in Elizabeth? What's that like?
I think loneliness plays in me in a sense of separation, in a
Mm,
sense of yeah, in a sense of separation and not being seen on some level. But I think it's the sense of separation is when loneliness comes. And actually spend a lot of time on my own because I'm an artist. And so I spend a lot of time, like I do restoration and decorative painting. So I spend a lot of time by myself.
mm. So, so how about that? Like this is the rich thing, right? Where it touches. It's not just aloneness. It touches an exile. It touches the sense of not belonging, of being exiled from perhaps family, community, friends,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
touches that vulnerability in our systems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely it does feel vulnerable. It does feel an exile and it feels like I think the loneliness also comes from feeling not understood or feeling not seen. Um and also the vulnerability thing I think is right because when one shows one's vulnerabilities, you know, you're open and someone could potentially, squash you.
Mm. And then there's the knowing.
Hmm.
Then there's the knowing. I'm not separate from the light. I am connected. There is a belonging that can't be touched by experience. It just is here. It's beyond, it's even more subtle, more intimate than belonging.
Hmm. I think that the exile and the loneliness comes sort of from forgetting the connection and sort of and forgetting God and forgetting that we are always held in the light. And that, but also that we are the light.
Mm. Like, back to this game of all of this comes together as this me, this knowing that is just, I love hearing when Elizabeth speaks of this knowing. She's
Hmm.
having that hike and then it's like, oh, there's just oneness, where the sense of the light is not separate from me. And then at the same time, as an aspect of me, is this I'm being exiled, I'm lonely, I'm separate. This is very
Hmm.
vulnerable. I could be hurt.
Hmm. Hmm.
How does that all come together in as Elizabeth?
How does that all the exile and the light?
What's it like? Because some people describe alchemy and some people describe their simultaneous awareness of both. Can they coexist? What's it like
I
with
think
all
there's a
of that?
separation. There's a separation. It's looking at the exile and the lonely part, and it's also looking at the connection. And when trying to grasp the connection, it's more elusive. And so it's sort of it's like a stepping back from and looking at those different parts.
Hmm. Okay. So one way, when there's a little bit more identification as the light, as the beingness, as the self, as this, there's a sense of something kind of steps back a little bit. There's a little bit of space, and there's this seeing the parts and the contractions. Like that's, I'm hearing that that's one way it plays.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that the two can coexist. As a child, it didn't coexist because I was so in the loneliness. But as an adult, it can coexist more because I feel like I can step back from it and look at it
Mhm.
and see that the loneliness can kind of be a construct too. Because as I said, it's sort of a forgetting about all of the connection and trying to grasp the connection. And when I try to
Mhm.
grasp the connection, as I said, it's more elusive. And so it's can't, so it's, and the lone, it's not about, I don't think it's about connecting with other people. I think it's about connecting with myself.
Mhm. Great. And so then here we are. There's this adult awareness that's here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I almost don't want to discount it as a construct, even though we can go there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the sense of, and there are these younger aspects of us that feel lonely, separate,
Mm-hmm.
exiled, not belonging,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this adult knowing, and that's here's the light, we're this beingness, we're connected.
Mm-hmm.
As what's it like for both of them to be here? It's like, can both of them be felt? The feeling of this adult knowing and the feeling
Mm-hmm.
of the little girls, like, I don't belong. This is
Yes,
horrible.
they can definitely both be here. And the way that the little girl can be here is by being held and accepted and loved
Hmm.
and shown that it's not it's not lonely.
Hmm.
And it's also
Held,
okay to feel lonely.
mm, girl, feel held, accepted, and loved.
Hmm.
Held, accepted, and loved. From this adult knowing, as both are here, do you have to do anything for her to feel held, accepted, and loved? Or is it just this the radiance of your essence, of your beingness, of the love that you are, that if you are here in your knowing, can she feel the held, accepted, and loved?
Yeah, if I pick her up and hold her and she knows that.
And I'm gonna do that one again. It's like pick her up. If you pick her up, the attention is on
Hmm.
her. She knows it,
Hmm.
held, accepted, and loved. And then back to the adult you
Hmm.
that has this knowing of this connectedness, and perhaps the adult you, because we've spoken about Palm Sunday, we've spoken about what that's like to feel the comfort of that as the beingness, as you are. Can you find that your very essence is radiating, is this holding, this acceptance and love?
Hmm. And yeah, and she's very connected to that. She is me and she's very connected and she can relax.
Hmm.
She can relax into that.
Is there, how's your system? Because this is what we, in IFS, we just call it self, this beingness, this love, this welcoming, this connectedness.
Mm.
And in IFS, it's part of the journey. We even call it a tipping point as the system starts to get that, wow, the self, this beingness, it's always here, the adult me who knows that. It's always here, this holding, this accepting, this loving. It's the very nature of this essence of what I am as this self, as this beingness. How does that translate to your system?
I feel it's just a sense of kind of calmness. And um, there's a peacefulness because I can accept these different parts of the lonely girl who feels exiled, and then the adult who knows the connection and who knows the light and knows that that sense of exile is a fleeting thing, that it's not there forever, and that I can sort of move through it. Like I can't ignore it, I can't walk around it, but I can move through that sense of exile, and that there's deep power inside of this.
So, how's your system with this? Because we've been talking about transcendent moments of seeing, walking on the mountain and in
Hmm.
church and other times of knowing ourselves as this being, as this radiance. And
Hmm.
then we're hearing what the young, lonely Elizabeth wants to be held, to be accepted, to be loved. And then we're touching those are aspects of adult Elizabeth's very nature,
Hmm.
holding this acceptance, this love as this
Hmm.
radiance of what we are as this self, as this beingness. How's that for in IFS terms, so much of the game is the kind of the knowing of that. How deep can that knowing be of that essence? It's already here. This is one of the reasons I call it effortless IFS, that it's already here. How's
Hmm.
that playing in in adult for adult Elizabeth?
Like, what does it feel like?
No, how's it doing as far as the recognition? Because we use this word like innocent confusion, forgetting earlier. What's the sense of the recognition of this this essence, this beingness as always here in Elizabeth? Does some of
Hmm.
Elizabeth like know it and other aspects of adult Elizabeth like we have to, it's a work in progress? What's it like? The knowing this light that's here, this radiance.
What's it like? It's very settled. It's very it feels very sort of cohesive and just kind of settled. And and it feels very calm. And that little girl feels seen and heard.
Mm.
And infinite. It's kind of like it's almost echoing.
Mm. where she
Then there's a sense of fullness, I think, because it's all part of the same system. How's it echo in Sid?
love is this edge we're touching that I get to fully go through your system as I get to dance. We get to dance in this, and it
Hmm.
goes two ways. One, like the loveliness of the young aspects of Sid that
Hmm.
have, I mean, loneliness, it definitely comes and goes here.
Hmm.
And, but the sense of getting to, and I loved your words, getting to feel held, accepted, and loved. Like this that
Hmm.
has this that forgets and has the contraction. I'm all by myself. Nobody wanted to play together. Nobody invited me out to lunch today. I don't have anything to do. I'm just going to be by myself.
Hmm.
Ugh, ugh. Um, and then there's a sense of that sweet vulnerability, being held, accepted, and loved.
Hmm.
Like I love that, and I love the. And it's almost instead of, because in some of the spiritual game, there's a stepping back. There's just a stepping back to the beingness, to the fullness, to the unity and oneness. Like there's such a richness in not just stepping back, in being in the loneliness, being in the young aspects that feel just like just not belonging, exile,
Hmm.
separate. Because whatever's here in this human experience, and then the yumminess of like getting to come home in the way of being held, your words held, accepted, and loved. Like it's so rich to get to be that for inner parts of us, right? It's there's a
Hmm.
richness in that.
Hmm.
Just like we get to do it for each other in the world, right? We get to do it for our own system.
Hmm.
And then here, then there's something else that happens. But I'm wanting to be so careful in talking about it because I don't want to move past any of this, right? To move past the sense of the held, accepted, and loved. And then what seems to happen when there is that held, accepted, and loved, let's say there's like a 10-year-old Sid who's had those feelings of not belonging and loneliness. With the held, accepted, and loved as it comes together, it's like it starts to reveal, something opens up, it relaxes. 10-year-old, and in IFS, we call this like returning to our natural state, returning to our natural way. And it's like that contraction that was there and the loneliness, it ends up revealing, like, especially the young aspects, is revealing the innocence, revealing the radiance, revealing the beauty that is or is there.
Hmm.
And that's how it seems to play here.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it can all coincide. It can all be together, and as you said, kind of dance together. Because it's all part of what brought me here.
Brought you
Seeing
here.
brought me here to now, to today, and to, the conversation we're having. Um, because it's allowing the vulnerableness to be present. And it's not going to be squashed or made fun of or shamed. And I can be quiet. I don't have to take care of. I think part of it comes from too is feeling that I have to take care of everybody else and everybody else's emotions, and that I can just be quiet. I can just be quiet in this. This doesn't have to perform or make other people feel a certain way. I can just feel the way I feel.
What if the loneliness that comes for you and me, that we're like, oh, I don't like that. I'd much rather be with friends playing on the beach. Loneliness, it's, ugh. Mm.
Hmm.
What if something starts shifting there, where the loneliness, it like becomes something so yummy because the system starts to know, and this is the exploration that's happening here. I'm not speaking from being here. Um, we start to know that underneath all of the loneliness, underneath each of these young Elizabeths and young Sids that are feeling, God, I don't belong. I'm by myself. I'm being exiled, I'm lonely. But as we get closer to that, as we're meeting those aspects of us effortlessly with this holding, this acceptance, this love, that something gets revealed. Like we start to see the beautiful innocence of it. It's like, what's more innocent than like the innocence of a 10-year-old? Oh my gosh, it's like so beautiful. I love being around kids so much. You see the radiance, you see the innocence, the beauty shining through. And that's the gift that's waiting for us within our own system every time a contraction arises like loneliness.
So embracing it.
Mm. Yes, but more like getting to enjoy it,
Hmm.
not as a masochist. Oh, I love pain, but enjoying it because we're seeing deeper. We're seeing what it's covering up, what's really there in the loneliness.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
This has become, I think, by like my latest theme in this, in like, today we were doing loneliness. Like next week it might be shame,
Hmm.
it might be guilt, it might, whatever flavor of contraction.
Hmm.
But I'm going to suggest that it's the same game of
Hmm.
seeing deeper to what's really there.
Hmm. What's deeper to really there with the loneliness is, again, I think it's a forgetting. It's forgetting the connection. It's forgetting it's forgetting the joy. It's forgetting it's just it's a forgetting.
So on one level, it's so clear from adult knowing Elizabeth that it's just a forgetting. Okay. They can
Hmm.
see that. And then there's the possibility of coming at it from a little different perspective, which is just like, okay, we're going to explore this for ourselves and find what's there. We're going to be, we're going to be intimate with this aloneness, with these young aspects, and that you said exiled, not included, not belonging. We're going to be intimate with that And so we don't even have to do the knowing. The knowing is one way, but we can find it through just like looking at our hand, like what's this hand made of? Doing the same thing with aloneness, loneliness. Be intimate with it to see what's really there as we go deeper into it. And that's I love
Mm-hmm.
that because it becomes so visceral. It's like discovering, like digging in the yard as kids and pull the rock up, and then it's like, wow, there are worms underneath there. Like we get to find for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's beneath the loneliness?
Or what's even the
Mm-hmm.
loneliness made of? What's really there? I'm gonna say that it's not, you could say we can go beneath, or we could also go like what's really there.
Mm-hmm.
Or either way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. The loneliness is a separation. It's a, it's also a learning. And I'm not quite sure what I mean by that. But I think it's a learning to be with all of this, all of these feelings, and knowing them and feeling them and sort of being them. I feel like I'm not getting it.
Mm. Well, I love how your system, we're just following your system, how it goes in different ways, right? Because that's different, a little difference. The
Mm-hmm.
loneliness is like being with all of this. And so from another perspective, it could be like just the acceptance and enjoyment of, oh, that's what's happening. She's being with all of these feelings and all these experiences. And it's like you could just see the innocence of that as young Elizabeth is being with all of this and coming to conclusions of loneliness and separation. And there could just be like the beauty of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the loneliness also is a feeling of not getting it right. Like that somehow there's an answer and it's just not getting it right.
Yes. But it's like, it's not fair going to 10-year-old Elizabeth and giving her the answers to a calculus problem. It's like, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
need to say, right? It doesn't work. We can't do that. No, don't you get it? Everything is
Yeah.
connected. Everything is love. You are the light of being. It's like, no, but I feel so, that doesn't work. Um, maybe sometimes it does for some systems, and maybe it does work, but I love I love such the compassion for the 10-year-old, for the whatever age, the one who
Mm-hmm.
feels lonely inside,
Mm-hmm.
and the sense of as we really meet her in intimacy and compassion and in your holding, your acceptance, your love, that something, often will be revealed in the way we come into this adoring of her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She can
And
just relax.
mhm, yeah. And then when she relaxes, or even if she doesn't relax, even
Mm-hmm.
if, even if, no, but I don't want to be by myself today. Where are my friends? Why didn't they invite me to the birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a problem inside Elizabeth that young Elizabeth is feeling lonely?
Um, Sometimes it is because I feel, yes, sometimes it is. Sometimes I feel ashamed of that.
Mhm.
that I should be able to take care of it and that I shouldn't get caught in that and that, I could, well, if you feel lonely, then go out and do something. If you feel lonely, like, you know, go find someone to be with, go distract yourself from it.
Mm.
Yeah, there's shame in it.
Okay. So then we notice those parts.
Mhm.
Let's say, I don't now why this loneliness, it shouldn't be here. Or if it's here, come on. I'm resourceful. I could go be with someone. I can take care. I should do something. Like the
Mhm.
parts, the problem solving parts, the critic parts, the
Mhm.
spiritual achiever parts, like we can hear those.
Mhm. But nothing external is ever going to fill the loneliness. It's just a distraction.
And so aren't those parts, but can we appreciate the parts? Because there's temporary relief, right? That the
Mhm.
doing these things in the world to try to
Mhm.
relieve the loneliness. So we can have compassion for those aspects of us that want to help.
Mhm. Mhm. And that, yeah, the aspects that want to help and that want to give us a hard time or shame us for feeling that way.
Right. Just take a moment with me and just like if we can like all of that can be welcomed and
Mhm.
appreciated.
Mhm.
And then we notice when we're interacting on that level of the protective system, right? It's like, oh, we can fix this. This shouldn't happen, or we can do something about this on that level. That then still the loneliness, the young girl that feels exiled, she's kind of like pushed into the background. We don't, she's just underneath it all.
Mhm.
And it's like a different level of the protective system, the adult
Mhm.
protective system.
Mhm.
And then there are these different ways, right? Then there's a sense of even stepping back into the knowing, hey, this is just a little confusion because everything is connected. There is no loneliness. There is just this radiant being that we're inseparable from. There's that, there's the knowing. And then there's also the sense of coming back to the intimacy with the loneliness, the sense of
Mhm.
holding, acceptance, loving.
Mhm.
How are we doing?
Good. Yeah, I think, yeah, accepting and shining a light on it and not avoiding it, not being afraid of it. And recognize that all those parts are what brought me to where I am right now.
Yeah. And however it plays, like it can play all these different ways, right? When loneliness comes up in Elizabeth and Sid.
Mm-hmm.
And can there just be like, whoa, how's it going to play now? How are we going to play this? There's loneliness, even
Mm-hmm.
curiosity and wonder. Oh, wow, we're going to go call our friend and go out to lunch and like, yeah, look at that. Or we're going to go to the knowing, or we're going to go to
Mm-hmm.
the intimacy with it. And just there are all these different ways. And the only voice, the only problem that's there is just a part that says, no, I know better. We should do this instead of that. And that's just another part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a sense that we might be getting close to closure with this because this is so fun and there's so much, but I also don't want to end if there's something still like bubbling with it.
No,
But
I
there's
think this has been, I think this has been really illuminating. And um, I think on the one hand, there's the acceptance, and on the other hand, there's the avoidance. So instead of avoiding, just going into it and accepting it and allowing it to be what it is.
and
And uh-huh.
And can we enjoy what you're calling the avoidance, which for me might be like just, calling my friends, going and playing, going and doing other ways of finding relief or remedying for loneliness. Can that be included as well? And just the enjoyment of Elizabeth. It's like, oh, look what she's doing. It's so good. Like I might go to church today, right? It's like all of that.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, the enjoying of it.
The enjoying of it, however it plays.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Jenny's gonna be jealous because I got to have a one-on-one.
This is the best. This is the best.
It's
Gosh.
great. It's been really great. And I think you were right to say to Mona, can we do it another time?
Isn't it cool? Like I felt like there's so much discovery here in this exploration. I just loved it. I loved it. It's like
Hmm.
where you took us. Um,
Thanks. I really appreciate it.